Okay, I'm not going to sing for you. Not because I can't sing, but because the song that I have stuck in my head for no reason at all. I haven't heard it in years. Yeah. I'm going to get busted by the copyright police singing a song. Okay, I made another one of those. And this time, I noticed when I went upstairs that my shaker had a little layer of honey at the bottom. It didn't get all shook into the drink. So I put a little more honey this time so more of it would end up in the drink. And let me tell you, the honey just like brings that vanilla in the Captain Morgan's right out. Yes. Okay. Before we talk about our movie, I had to make sure that I wasn't imagining things when my buddy from junior high there, the same one that gave me all the liquor that I was drinking a couple of weeks ago. Oh, pardon me. His older brother had this record of War of the Worlds, right? And I found out that is Jeff Wayne's musical version of War of the Worlds. So it was real. We would listen to this record with a humble narrator. Well, not a very humble narrator. Richard Burton fucking narrating War of the Worlds with this, like, musical soundtrack. This guy wrote all the songs, I guess, but, like, guest artists David Essick, Justin Hayward, Phil Lynott. I mean, it was like an all-star rock band doing this rock opera of War of the Worlds. This was a real thing. I heard this before I heard the radio show. But I probably saw this movie on Science Fiction Theater. H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. And I have not read the book. I don't know why. But I never did. Color by Technicolor. Doesn't say who's in it. Not very helpful. Okay. War of the Worlds is a 1952 Paramount picture directed by Byron Haskin and starring Gene Barry and the voice of Sir Cedric Hardwicke. Now, I know you don't know the name, but when you hear the voice, you'll know the voice. Well, if you're old like me, you'll know the voice. This is a telling of the H.G. Wells classic. A meteor crashes outside Los Angeles, we think, and the yokels there, who appear to be more Dogpatch than L.A. County. I mean, okay, it's 1952. There were a lot more farms, orange groves, whatever, surrounding Los Angeles. Orange County was named that for a reason. They scratch their heads in bewilderment. Soon they are joined by a team of scientists and one enterprising grease monkey, one adventurous grease monkey, I might add, takes a shovel to the meteor. Once they discover it is radioactive, they leave some Mexican migrant farm workers to guard the meteor and go to a square dance. Okay, it's 1952, and even in California, we don't want any white people to get harmed, so we'll leave these migrant farm workers here to watch the thing. Good grief. Much to the farm workers' dismay, a menacing telescopic eye emerges from the meteor and emits a ray which reduces them to dust. This also shuts off the power at the hoedown. And again, the yokels are scratching their heads. What happened? Our watches all stopped at the same time. Our scientist friend, the guy in the tortoiseshell glasses here, our scientist friend. Yeah, I'm blind too. He finds that the watches stopped because they've become magnetized, so the hands can't move because they're magneted to the face of the watch. Quick, get a compass. What's going on here? Uh-oh, the compass doesn't point north anymore. We know north's that way. Wait, north's that way. And the compass pointing over there towards the meteor. Back to the meteor, where they find the dust of the farm workers and find themselves under siege from floating steel machines with a telescopic eye. Call out the army! And so they fight, and the meteor and more meteors hatch. Soon there are invaders all over the world, and all mankind's military might is powerless to stop them. Oh shit, looks like we're kind of in trouble here. Call out some stock footage of the flying wing. And damn, even the A-bomb can't stop them. Well, 1952, we're going to drop an A-bomb on them. Let's just do it. The scientist, including our bespectacled friend and his new love interest, Sylvia. My new love interest is not named Sylvia. But for all intents and purposes, I'm going to be a scientist. For tonight's show, they head for the hills to work on a new plan, but on their way out of town, they get hijacked by mobsters desperate to get out of town. And our scientist friend finds himself wandering alone through the streets of L.A. in search of his lost love. He finds her, and just as suddenly as it began, the threat is over. And I think you all know what happened. The sun comes out. This is 1952, mind you. The sun comes out, and the narrator delivers a Sunday sermon. Ugh, I wrote here. This, the original film version, is shot in spectacular color for 1952. The effects are above par for the time, though not what was conjured up in our minds from the radio program. I mean, even on the album of the album cover. I mean, it's plain to see that we just could not do that in 1952. We couldn't make these giant walking tripod machines realistic at that time. The actors are adequate. The story is post-war spun. And in the end, the film was soured by the overtly Christian bullshit ending I wrote here. Did Wells write that? Somebody. Anybody read this book? Has anybody read the book? Or did y'all start with Orson Welles' radio broadcast that freaked out the whole fucking world? People thought it was actually happening. Still a good telling of a great story. I'm going to separate this here because we got more. For 1952, we have 3 rings. 3 rings. And off we go into 2005, Universal Pictures, directed by Steven Spielberg. Y'all hear that? Starring Tom Cruise, yeah, I know. Dakota Fanning, Tim Robbins, and Gene Barry. Again. Maybe it's a different Gene Barry, I don't know. So, I'm just going to get it out here right now. I don't know if I've reviewed another Tom Cruise film. I'm not a big fan of Tom Cruise. The guy can act. We've seen it, but it's pretty rare. Usually, it's what he gets paid to do. And he makes millions of dollars compared to me, who throws money in this fucking show like a bottomless pit. Me and the boss just throwing money in here. He makes a lot of money playing the same guy over and over again because that's what people want to see. And okay, he recognizes that. That's great. Sometimes that guy works in a picture, and this is one of those instances where that guy that Tom Cruise plays works well in the situation that he's thrown into. I'm a huge fan of War of the Worlds, and so I had to see what today's effects could bring to the story. It's just a matter of, can they stick to the story? Okay. Hellacious lightning storm, towering three-legged machines. This is more like what we heard about in the radio show. Brought to life on the screen by Steven Spielberg. This time, instead of, a scientist and his wife, we've got Cruise playing the father of a teen boy and a preteen girl. When the machines strike town, he somehow ends up with the only functioning motor vehicle. And this is never explained, never adequately explained. He's driving around. Everybody else's car is stalled, just like the watch is stopped in the original. Close calls. They end up holing up in a farmhouse somewhere. And here things get even more confusing as the machines continue to search and destroy. But now there are red vines and fluid everywhere. And the machines seem to feed on humans. No explanation here. I wrote, is there a director's cut? I think I wrote this up before the 52 one. Anyway, they are soon captured, and as soon as they're captured, the thing just shuts down and falls over. I think you know the story here. Outdone by the tiniest of warriors. Okay, visually, this is an exceptional piece. The story is accurate, but it seems like some pieces are missing here. Again, is there a director's cut? Just jumping from here to there? It really felt like it was edited for time, and important parts of the story were edited out. Like explanations of what's going on in favor of action. It would not be the first time that Hollywood has done that to a picture to cut down on the time because people's attention spans are so short. For commercial reasons, I wrote here. Steve! Mr. Steven Spielberg, if you're out there, what happened? Do I need to see a director's cut? Is there one out there I need to see? Because this kind of didn't make sense in a lot of places. So, despite the spectacular visuals and sticking to the story for the most part, I don't know what the fuck was going on. So, 3. As good as the original, I think, just because visually. Got anything to say about that, monkey?
My bloody name is Percival.
He talked. You talked.
Of course I talked, you dimwit. I speak the Queen's English.
You're British?
Christ, man, I'm from India. There are no monkeys indigenous to Great Britain.
I see we picked up some attitude under the house. Nothing? Well, will you at least still help us pick a movie out of the bucket?
I suppose so. As long as the high-end gin, imported, please, preferably from Japan, keeps flowing, we can do this bit of nonsense.
What do we got? What do we got? What do you think there, buddy?
Is this something you rewatch yourself? Just I don't know. It just doesn't add up to me. But then it can always be tea and crumpets, I suppose. Then, pip pip.
Okay. I'll take that as a yes. We have... Oh, look, more Jeff Goldblum. We're going to talk about both versions, and I might have to watch the new one again. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And The Fly. Next week on the Late Night Picture Show. Be sure and tune in. Right, Monkey? I think he's done.